Hey, Zane Hadzick here. This week I'm going to be sharing one of my favorite recipes with you, Way-to-good-to-be-true waffles. And they're good for breakfast, awesome for pre-workout, and also great for post-workout. So, yeah, let's get started. So I like to make this recipe in a big batch and then freeze a bunch. It's not only handy, it's also cheap. And it's a great meal, like I said, for your pre- and post-workout. So what you need. For dry ingredients, you need flaxseed, baking soda and baking powder, white whole wheat flour, oat flour, and if you don't have oat flour, you can make your own with whole oats using either a grinder or food processor or a blender. For liquid ingredients, vanilla, milk, either fat-free, 1%, 2%, your choice, and an egg. So those are the basics. I also forgot to include salt. A little dash of salt really enhances the flavor. But for additions, you could add whey for extra protein. I also like to incorporate bananas. You could either blend them up, chop them. Cinnamon goes really good with bananas. I've also used sweet potato, pumpkin puree, a variety of nuts, different types of dried fruits, chia seeds. Get creative and let me know if you find something that works out for you. I'm always interested to try something new myself. So when you look at your typical waffle or pancake recipe, it always says to mix the dry and wet ingredients separately. So that's what we'll do. We'll throw our dry ingredients in here. Oat flour, my favorite. The white whole wheat. Beat our egg. You could also use egg whites if you want to cut back on the fat, but I'm a big fan of the yolks. Teaspoon of vanilla. Go a little heavy if you want it more. Give that a little stir. And then we're going to combine the dry and the wet together. But first we'll give our dry ingredients a little bit of a stir too. Make a little hole. Stir this a bit more. Combine them. Then we'll stir this up and it'll be ready to go into the waffle maker, which we have preheating. So after we mix our dry and wet thoroughly and we let it sit, you got to let it sit for a little bit because the oat flour will take a little bit to absorb the liquid. So be sure to keep an eye on your thickness consistency. And since I suggested adding bananas and pumpkin, whatever you add, everyone's measurements will be a little bit different. So just make sure that you get a good consistency, pretty thick. Have your waffle iron preheated. Use a little bit of ham spray. You don't want to also overmix your batter. And then we are going to add it to the waffle maker. Make sure everything's covered. Listen to that sizzle. I wish you could smell it. That's when you eat the batter. Close that up, and that's it. It's as simple as that. Wait until your waffle maker tells you that it's ready. Pull it out, throw it on a plate. Either eat it or put it on the side and let it cool, and get ready to freeze it for later. Alright, so now that our waffles are done, we're going to remove them from the waffle iron. Be very careful. And you could enjoy right away. Top them with maple syrup, fruit preserves, make your own type of topping. I like to do that sometimes with banana and strawberries. And if you don't eat them right away, you could freeze them for later. They are unbelievable when you put them in the toaster oven. They get super crisp. So yeah, that's my way-too-good-to-be-true waffles. I hope you enjoy them as much as I do, and if you have any questions on the recipe or anything like that, or you come up with a creative variation of these, please let me know. Thanks, I'll see you next week.